Yes, people, what's happening? 2 videos in 2 days from me. Yeah, crazy, innit? I'm on a roll right now, and that is because Bruno Fernandez has rejected Al Hilal's proposal of joining them in the Saudi League, playing in the Club World Cup, earning crazy amounts of money. Bruno Fernandez, our captain, has rejected it. Now, there were obviously some kind of talks going on. There was obviously some interest from them, and his agent had spoken with Al Hilal to discuss what kind of deal they would be offering Bruno Fernandez. It was believed it was up to $750,000 a week, crazy sums for the player, life-changing amounts of money, even for rich footballers like Bruno Fernandez. He spoke to his family, he spoke with obviously his people around him. He had a little think about that one. Does he want to go to Saudi Arabia or not? And the Manchester United captain has said he wants to continue to play at the top level. Man United obviously finished 15th, so there could still be hints in there about him moving from Manchester United. But he wants to stay at the top level. Man United don't want to sell. I can't see any other clubs apart from the Saudi clubs coming in with the kind of money Manchester United would accept. So it looks like Bruno Fernandez is going to be a Manchester United player next season. Huge news for Manchester United. I can't lie, I was a little bit torn on this one, like Natalie Imbruglia. Yeah, I was a little bit torn on it, because part of me is like, well, we're 15th with Bruno. He's a phenomenal player. Nothing against Bruno, by the way. I think he's been our best player since Fergie left the club, and I think he's a player that would thrive playing under a Sir Alex Ferguson-led team, and he'd win medals and all that kind of stuff. People say he wouldn't start for a Fergie side. Believe me, he would. I remember midfields of like Cleverley and Anderson, and all due respect to those players, but Bruno Fernandez is twice the player they were, maybe even more than that. He's a phenomenal player. He's been incredible for us. He clearly loves the club. We love him. My kind of opinion around it was, look, if he wants to go and take life-changing sums of money in Saudi Arabia, I wouldn't begrudge him for doing that. And also, he's given so much to the club that you kind of think, you know what, just let him do what he wants. But also, you go, we could get 100, 120 million for him, you know, for a player that's aging, for a player that you're not going to get that kind of money for. You're almost doubling the money that you paid for him all those years ago. And in a PSR world, and in a world where Manchester United need to raise funds, in a world where it's probably going to take us 2 or 3 seasons at a minimum to kind of get to where we want to be, the idea of selling Bruno was I was kind of coming round to it. But again, that might be just because after that game in Bilbao, I was thinking, what the fuck is going on with this team? What is going on with this team? Everyone could have gone that night, is how I felt. But look, Bruno Fernandez is staying. Huge decision by him. Huge boost for Manchester United to keep their captain. And you look at the news linking us with, you know, obviously we've signed Matheus Cunha. It's looking like we're about to sign Bryan Mbeumo. Bruno Fernandez playing with those guys could be a legit force. But of course, we've been here before with signings. We've been here before, you know, getting excited about making players join Manchester United, and then they haven't quite lived up to the expectations that we've set for them. But it does feel like our recruitment under Ineos has taken a different direction, and hopefully that direction can lead us into a better position than we have been. But Bruno Fernandez staying at Manchester United is absolutely huge news. And yeah, man, crazy. Rejecting £700,000 a week to stay at a Man United side who finished 15th, lost in the Europa League final. Does that make him a legend? Sticking by us when we're in this mess? Does that make him a legend? I kind of was discussing it yesterday, like, if he's not a legend, he's close to being one, and he's definitely an icon at Man United. Look, the trophies he's won doesn't make him a legend. It's the way he handles himself, the quality of him, you know, how good he's been, the goals, the assists, everything about him. He understood the assignment when he joined Manchester United, and not many players have. But he could be close to being legendary status to reject that kind of money to stay here. And you know, if we go on and achieve something in the next 2 or 3 seasons with Bruno Fernandez, we'll look back at this and go, he decided to stay so we could do this. It's phenomenal stuff. His legendary status could start to build. Crazy. But like I said, Cunha done, and Mbeumo done, Bruno staying. You know, there's going to be a few ins and outs for United over this summer. Rasmus Højlund's being linked with a move to Inter Milan, although the talk there is that he'd be happy to stay at Man United. I don't think I'd be happy for him to stay. I think it's time to cut our losses. And I do think Rasmus Højlund will go on elsewhere, do really well, score plenty of goals if he moves to Inter Milan. I do think there's a striker in there. I do think there's a player in there. He's a young lad, 22 years old, leading the line for Man United, one of the worst Man United teams you've ever seen. It's a difficult spot for him to be in. But having said that, has too far gone on? Have we gone too long with this guy? Has he fully lost his belief in the Man United shirt? Does he need a fresh start? If we risk it next season, keeping him, and he doesn't perform, then the amount of money we're going to get back for him in a year is going to be half what we'd get for him this summer. Because this summer, teams can still go, well, he's had a bad season at United, but there's still a player there. Because the first season he joined us, I thought it was fantastic. 16 goals in a really poor United side that I think finished 8th or something like that. I thought he did really well, but he's fallen off a cliff. He looks like he's gone backwards. He doesn't do the basics very well. And I'll probably be all for letting him go and moving on. But again, that one is up in the air. There's going to be loads up in the air. What's going to happen with Andre Onana? What's going to happen with that? But Bruno Fernandez deciding to stay. And one of the big things as well that I thought was when I seen Ruben Amorim's, let me try and find it actually. I seen Ruben Amorim's interview when he was asked about Bruno Fernandez potentially leaving the club. And I thought his words were quite strong in that, you know, he was saying he wanted Bruno to stay. You could tell he was kind of like trying to persuade Bruno Fernandez to stick around at Manchester United. I think the manager really needs him, and I think if the manager needs him, the manager wants him, and he's decided to stay. That's amazing news. So yeah, buzzing with that. As you can see, I'm still on holiday here, just in the garden, pool behind that bush and all that kind of stuff. Enjoying myself in Portugal, and United are keeping the positive news flowing. So, you know, all good in the hood. Bruno Fernandez deciding to stay at Manchester United. He was on 99 goals for the club, I think, as well. And I remember thinking, oh man, imagine he leaves and he doesn't get a chance to score his 100th. Well, he'll get his chance to score his 100th at Manchester United right now. And it could be a very, very different lineup when we take to the field that first day of the Premier League campaign in August. Matheus Cunha will be on tour. Brian Mbeumo could be, if we can get that one wrapped up. And fingers crossed we can do a few more deals. Like, you don't even want players that are possibly leaving being on tour. You need everyone reading from the same hymn sheet, everyone pulling in the right direction, no distractions, none of that stuff, because the summer's massive. The summer's massive. This manager needed a pre-season. He didn't want to join the club mid-season for a reason, and now he's here. This pre-season's huge, and it's nice to see us doing our business early, getting our deals done, and fingers crossed we can have a good summer. But so far, so good.